Are you satisfied? Happy? Miserable? Are you looking for love in all the wrong places? It's time for the Michelle Hughes Show, where we keep it real. Tune in daily and join our controversial topics as we talk about singles, sex, and men and women's issues. And now, the queen of relationships on the Michelle Hughes Show. Always keeping it real. Your host, Michelle Hughes.
Yes, we have Dr. Bill Tollefson. He's with us tonight. He promised to come back, and he's a man of his word. And I'm so happy to have Dr. Bill back with us on the Michelle Hughes Show. And we are going to talk about some things that's going to help you understand addictions from a different format here. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Bill. Dr. Bill, he's a master life coach, and he deals with post-traumatic stress disorder, and he has a PhD in clinical psychology, and he's the person, if you have issues with just thinking about who you are, he will give you a new definition concerning how to help yourself become a better person. I like what he said. Scars from yesterday make you stronger today. And that's a quote from Dr. Bill. And I believe that is so true, that a lot of times all you need is someone to help you understand what you're going through and why you are going through the different changes that you're going through. He's an expert in changing lives. He restructures your thinking, and every aspect of your life changes. Wow! Man, that's something, Dr. Bill.
Hi, Michelle.
Well, hello, Dr. Bill.
How are you today?
I'm great now that we are ready to do our interview. I know that you have some information that the people will definitely understand what it is to have thought addictions, and you're going to give some clarity to that. I know I was thinking this is like a new theory, because this isn't a new theory, because it has been around for some time. But, however, you have a new derived concept on this subject of thought addiction. Now, I know you are the leading expert in this field, but can you explain what an addiction is in general?
Sure. Addiction in general is an unrealistic habitual attachment to a behavior, an emotion, a substance, or a thought that consumes and devastates somebody's life. An addiction is basically getting caught in some type of pattern of inappropriate use. And it could be use of a substance or emotion, or like exercise, shopping. But it gets to the point that it overwhelms you, and it begins to consume you and devastate your life.
Wow. Now, you said something when you said shopping.
Yeah, I got to throw that in. I used to be really addicted to shopping when I was younger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
a lot of people that have PTSD end up with addiction. So. All
right. Well, I'm an overcomer. I'm overcoming each day to not shop. Because I'm not going to lie. I love to shop. I can shop 24/7, and I never get tired. You give me money, I can shop. So I know that is an addiction that I have. I've had to go past some stores today, and I had to talk to myself. You're not going to go in there today, okay?
And shopping's, there's nothing wrong with it or anything else until it becomes toxic, until there's a problem.
Okay, when you say toxic,
so
okay.
Let me give you a few statistics.
Okay.
That'll help your listeners understand when I get into thought addiction. 9% of everyone's life actions, emotions, thoughts are influenced by the subconscious mind. 90%. That means only 10% is your rational mind. Okay?
Okay.
So, really what's occurring is what you developed your whole life actually causes you to act and react the way you do today. Not your rational mind that says, I'm not going to go shopping. I'm not going to go shopping. Oops, I'm in the store. So the 10% don't do you any good. The other thing is every day an average person produces over 70,000 thoughts. Think of that.
Wow. It's a lot of thoughts.
That's a lot.
Yes, it is.
And it depends on the percentage of whether it's positive or negative.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have more negative thought, then your mood's probably negative. If you have more positive thought, positive emotions. So 90% of all people in the world sabotage themselves in more than one area of their lives, be it career, relationship, family, marriages, health, appearance, happiness, or weight. And the last one, 95% of all the people that I've worked with and I've done surveys on don't fully love themselves. This is where thought comes in. Do you monitor your thought? You know, for a long time we've been told there's nothing you can do about thought, but there's a lot you can do about thought, and sometimes thought traps us and blocks us from getting what we want. So I added that.
Well, that was some good information to add. But, you know, I'm sure our listeners are familiar with addictions to alcohol and drugs. But what is an addiction to a thought?
Okay. This addiction, 1,000,000 times more addictive than any substance or drug known to man, is thinking. You already know each of us lose consciousness of our thinking every day. We don't govern it. We don't monitor. So, the definition of a thought addiction is a thought addiction is a hidden addiction, and it is the development and the intrusive, repetitive, habitual pattern or inappropriate attachment to one thought or a set of thoughts. So what you're looking at is sometimes we get stuck on a thought, and we can't seem to get past that thought. Just like, Michelle, I know you've heard a song, it gets in your head, or you remember a song from your childhood, and you can't get the song out. No matter what you do, that song will not leave your head. You can go to sleep, wake up in the morning, it's still playing in your head.
Right.
That's the same thing with a thought addiction. The thought begins to loop constantly. So that becomes a problem. So we get into these thoughts, then we get addicted to these looping thoughts over and over again. I'm not good enough is a thought. I don't deserve anything in my life. Nobody will love me. Everything I do is wrong. These kind of thoughts get stuck in our head, and it totally influences how we react to other people, how we react to the world, and how we react to ourselves.
Wow.
Now, a thought addiction can cause many such physical side effects. It can cause sleeplessness. It can cause anxiety. It can cause fear, stress, digestive troubles. So a thought addiction can go down through your body, and you can have digestive problems as a result of it. Thought addiction can create boring, intense relationships. Also can give you constriction or tightening of muscles, headaches, and yes, even death. And I bet you didn't know that.
No.
No.
So now how does that one work?
I'll give you an example of that.
Yeah, give me an example of the deaf one.
Suicidal thoughts.
Okay. Wow.
When they loop in your head and you can't get rid of it and you finally do the act, then that thought addiction can cause death.
That's terrible. Well, listen.
Remember,
go ahead.
Every addiction in the world. Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm. You say every addiction? Yeah, and you say every addiction in the world?
Yeah.
What?
Every addiction in the world starts with a thought.
Wow. I can't believe that, Dr. Bill.
Think about that.
Oh, yeah, because if you think positive or negative, if you nurture those negative things, it will just overtake you to, no end. Like you said, to suicide. A person who kills themselves, they didn't just kill themselves. That started with a thought, and then they acted upon it. So that's what you're saying. Thoughts are so powerful. Wow. Well, listen, Dr. Phil, I want you to hold your thought on the thought addictions. We're going to go to a commercial break, and we're going to come back and finish this conversation, because I believe many people need to understand what is going on in their head. Because if we don't get clear understanding, those thoughts will overtake you.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back as we deal with more heart-to-heart issues. This is the Queen of Relationships on the Michelle Hughes Show, where we keep it real. Stay with us on the Michelle Hughes Show.
Do you want to change your life? Unlock the secrets to making positive changes in your life with a free membership at makingappositivechange.com. Take a chance on yourself. Join the Making a Positive Change community today by going to www.makingappositivechange.com or talk to Dr. Will directly at 239-349-2209.
It's the Michelle Hughes Show. We keep it real. We talk about singles, sex, men and women issues. Come join the conversation on the Michelle Hughes Show. Are you satisfied, happy, or miserable? Are you looking for love in all the wrong places? Well, tune in daily and join our controversial topics. She's the Queen of Relationships on the Michelle Hughes Show. She keeps it real. Don't miss a show with Michelle Hughes.
Dr. Bill, we understand.
Yes.
We know you are very passionate about helping people, and you have published many articles and videos to assist people in their learning. But I am understanding you have developed a thought addiction assessment, which will help the person find out if they are suffering from a thought addiction. How does that work? Can you explain that?
Well, I developed a thought addiction assessment to, as you said, help people to learn whether they're having a problem with their thoughts or not. And it helps a person to focus on their thought. The questions are not hard, but it makes you focus on how you're thinking. So let me give you a few of the questions for your listeners. All they have to do to themselves is answer yes or no. I'll only give about 6 questions, and on that basis they can see where they fit as far as their thinking alone. So let's start with number 1. Do you periodically or constantly think about a thought or a set of thoughts that alter your mood? So they need to answer yes or no. As we know, a thought creates an emotion. An emotion will create a behavior. Sometimes a behavior creates a thought. So it's like a triangle, all three of them together. But do you set your mood, or do your thoughts set your mood? Number 2, do you have difficulty concentrating due to your thoughts? Some people get just thinking and they can't concentrate because they got too many thoughts running through their head, and it pulls them off of their concentration. Number 3, do you have an inability to participate or function in your daily tasks because of a failure to stop thoughts in your mind? Wow, sometimes we just can't do that. I think that's why electronic devices, smartphones, tablets, computers are so popular, because it's an attempt to stop thoughts. We're focused on something else, let's stop those thoughts. 4, does a thought or set of thoughts keep you from feeling? Do you use your thoughts to numb out your feelings? Do you use your thoughts to stay in your mind and not in your body? Yes or no? Yeah, a lot of us escape our feelings by thinking. We just escape into our heads. It's like a 2-story building. We go in the second story to avoid the first story.
Wow.
Number 5, is the content of your thoughts over 75% negative? If people are real honest with themselves, I think they're going to find out that, yeah, that's probably true. That they spend more than 75% of their day on negative thinking rather than positive thinking, because you could be in a job and it could be judgment or criticisms all day long. What you should be doing, could be doing, ought to be doing. Or you didn't do it well enough. 6, do the majority of your thoughts serve you? Do they help you in your relationship? Do they help you with your weight? Do they help you in your career? Do they help you in school? So do your thoughts serve you, or are you serving your thoughts? That's a big difference. And the last question, does a thought or set of thoughts block you from the success you want out of life? And, I can't amount to anything. I'm not going to be able to complete this. I'll never have a lot of money. I'll never get a promotion. Those are thoughts that can get looping in your head. So, if look out of seven questions that I answered, do they have more no's than yes, or more yeses than no's? My whole assessment is 20 questions. So they can go to hubpages.com, look me up, and there's an article on the thought assessment, and they can take it right there in the privacy of their home.
Wow, that was some good information, Dr. Bill. I like a quote that you said, that you used, quieting the noise in your mind. I think that is pretty much what your assessment is doing, is helping people to quiet all the negative noise that goes on each and every day of our life. Sometimes we bring things from the past into the future, negative things that people have said about us or to us. And
we carry them, yes.
And so I think what you're doing is trying to help people, in other words, eliminate this noise by working through it. And so how do you help people walk through their thought addictions?
Well, one, most of the people that I find with thought addiction per se, because they can come in many different forms, anxiety, compulsive thought, depressive thought, delusional thought. That's not psychotic thought, but that's delusional in distorted thought. Fearful thoughts, obsessive thoughts, negative thoughts, ruminating. Women tend to ruminate, men tend to act out their thoughts.
Can you what does that mean, ruminate?
To just turn a thought over and over again. I should go out, I should go out, I should go out. Rather than, a man will take a thought or a problem and put it into action. Could be wrong, could be inappropriate, could be correct. It doesn't matter. Men tend to react with a thought. Women tend to just chew on that thought, ruminating over and over without action.
That's us. That's true.
Okay. Then there's self-defacing thoughts, self-defeating thoughts, self-sabotaging thoughts, sexual thoughts. That's where you get, people with sexual addiction. Unwanted thoughts or worrisome thoughts. So what I help them to do is identify these thoughts and then connect it with, where did you get it? What event in life put this thought in your head? And then I work with them to find out who is the person that did it. Because most of the time when we have a thought against ourselves, it comes from somebody else, not from ourselves. Until you're told something's wrong with you, you don't know anything's wrong with you.
That's true.
Okay. So I help them to work through that, and then I have techniques that help a person to shift a negative thought into a positive thought and stop the loop. Meditation is a great way to stop the looping. Appropriate exercise, because exercise can also be an addiction, is a great way to stop a thought addiction. Now,
so can I? So when you're saying when you exercise, is it because of you are working the body that you're stimulating the mind or whatever, and that's helping you to work through the problem, or how is exercising?
You're actually connecting the two.
Oh, okay.
Instead of being separate from your body and your emotions, when you exercise, of course, you're breathing, and you're connecting with your body if it hurts, and what you have to tell your body, and that's how you do it. So let's look at an example of a recent thought addiction gone awry. Robin Williams committed suicide. Suicidal thoughts is an addiction to thought. Whatever his thought was, and he was so gifted. And he used to help everybody else. But at some point, he came to kill himself as a result of a thought. Now, look at it this way. If you have a negative thought that causes you to use a substance or alcohol, and Robin Williams did battle with addictions, regular addictions with drug and alcohol, that in fact, when you become sober, what are you left with? Well, actually, you're left with the original thought that got you to use in the first place. Like, I'm only social when I have drinks. Nobody will accept me if I don't take drugs like everybody else. These can get you in trouble. So when you get sober, then you go back to, I can't be social. So if an addiction and thought addiction take away your esteem, your value, and your confidence. Just because you get sober, if that thought is not worked with, then unfortunately you're going to relapse on that same thought that caused you to get the addiction in the first place.
Wow, that's true. I understand too that Robin Williams, he had a disease. I forgot the disease that he discovered he had. And that Parkinson, and that's what threw him into just total, just as if there was no hopelessness, And I think that I had to go back to the spiritual, and I believe that if you don't have a sense of understanding who God is, and He gives you the spiritual to work through all the areas that, even though, I mean, we thank God for you, Dr. Bill, but I'm saying far as understanding how to work through the things that sometimes you don't understand. Okay, well, why am I feeling this way? Well, I believe that through the spiritual, God helps you to work through those anxieties that we have, through the spirit. Now, I don't know if you believe in that too, the spiritual, to work through, those areas. Because I believe that if he really had a better relationship with God, he would know, first of all, God, he shines on taking your life. And so that's the thing that really hurt me when I found out that he did that. I'm thinking, oh my God, why did he do this? There's still hope. There was hope for him. And I think that's why
he was bipolar.
Oh, he's bipolar also. Okay.
And he had that his whole entire life. So when he was manic, you could tell when he was manic. He was also had depression, probably had some obsessive thoughts. But remember, one of his best friends is Michael J. Fox, and he had watched Michael go through his Parkinson and begin to shake when he did movies and TV, and I think it became so overwhelming for him that he gave in to the thought addiction, the suicidal thoughts, and killed himself. Well, he just couldn't stand for anybody to see him weak.
Well, through the thought addiction, you help people to have courage to understand that there is life even after you've been told something negative, because we're here to help you be positive, not take the negative route. That's not how we escape. You can't escape by taking your life. That's escaping. But we have to face our problems.
Michelle, you can't escape a thought. Even when you're high and drunk, you still have thoughts. There's no way to go blank in your head unless you're dead. So,
don't you talk to yourself? I mean, I believe that you have to communicate to yourself, and if you're not talking to yourself, encouraging yourself, then those thoughts will overtake you.
But you also have to be given permission, because if you didn't get permission growing up to have your own thoughts or have your own confidence or esteem or value, you don't have it. If you're told you're not good enough, you believe you're not good enough.
Well, then there you go again, Dr. Bill. That goes back to your spiritual base. If you believe there's a God, then you know there's a God who hears you. He hears your prayer, and he will help you work through anything that you're going through. And that's why we have people like you to help us work through. But we also have to have a relationship with God, so that when we feel defeated, he's our hope. I mean, he's our only hope.
I believe that God lives inside of us. You can't hate yourself and love God. It's not possible.
Exactly.
You can't hate God and love yourself. That's not possible either. You're still not going to have a good life. So you got to be able to love yourself fully and love God fully at the same time. And know that you have the power to change your thoughts. You have the power to change your mind. And that's really what I teach them. All you need is new skills. That's what I like after being a psychotherapist for 38 years and going, oh, too bad. Coaching gives you skills. So if your listeners go to
we want to thank you.
makingaapositivechange.com, download my free ebook. You can learn more about that. Look at all the videos and articles, and you can learn even more about this.
Well, listen, Dr. Bill, we want to thank you for coming, and that website that you can go and download that ebook is www.makingaapositivechange.
makingapositivechange.com. Yes, Michelle.
And so go and get that ebook. Dr. Bill will be coming back. We're going to bring him back. And we just want to thank him for coming tonight because, as usual, we want to thank you all in the chat room because we believe that in order for us to get healed and feel better about ourselves, we need people to encourage us, to give us hope. And we just know that we love people and thank God for people like Dr. Bill who inspires us, who give us a word to let us understand that our thought addictions can be worked through with help. So remember, go to that website and you know what we do here. We keep it real.
Thanks for tuning in to the Michelle Hughes Show. Join us daily for more hot topics with the Queen of Relationships. Always keeping it real. See you tomorrow on the Michelle Hughes Show.